Welcome to the Sibling Rivalry MMA Podcast. Today, we are joined by number 15 UFC Bantamweight, Casey Kenney. Casey, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Hey, you're officially our first reoccurring guest.
Yeah.
Awesome. Always good for the first, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry I missed the last one. I was still mad at you for beating my buddy in high school, but I'm over it now.
Shout out Justin
All right. As long as we're good now.
Yeah.
And was that
Justin.
Ron Colley, Kiefer?
Yeah.
Kiefer, yep. That was a close match. I was just actually telling somebody about that match the other day. I was like, man, I was like beating this kid in state, you know. It was supposed to be a close match, and then I was starting to pull away, and he threw me in a headlock or something right at the very end. I was like, it's probably the only time I've ever actually went like 5-on-2 on somebody. Reached around and tried to get out of there.
He beat my ass every day for 4 years, so respect.
Yeah, it was a good one, man. He beat the kid that Ethan Rayleigh, the kid that beat me in the finals the year before. So
we were just looking at that. That's a tough ass weight class.
Dude, that was tough. That 119 weight class that year was loaded. You know, I think I lost 3 times to Eppert that year, and then Johns ended up taking third. Johns was tough too. I wrestled with him at the University of Indianapolis.
Yeah, he coaches at Newtown now. We just had a tournament at UND yesterday. But last time I tried to post our interview on Indiana Matt, and they wouldn't let me post it on the wrestling part. I had to post it on the MMA one only. So maybe now that we talked about a little bit of wrestling, they'll let me post it on the website.
Right. Hey, we got some old school wrestling stuff in there, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Throwback.
For my first question, I'll crack open a beer. Casey,
Sounds good.
Sure, he's missing out on some beers.
Yeah, I got some beer in the fridge, but I'm gonna postpone that till next week.
Yeah.
I got my protein shake here.
There you go.
So
Cheers,
a little bit of background on Casey before we get to some questions. Like I said, number 15 bantamweight in the UFC, has a judo background, was also a former Indiana wrestler. Currently has 2 wins in the UFC. First one against Ray Borg on short notice, and then against Manny Bermudez. Fun fact, neither of those fighters made weight. So first question, is this guy going to make weight, and do you actually want him to? Because you've been getting some nice little bonuses.
Yeah, man. You know, at that point, you know, they're not, whether they make weight or they don't make weight, you know, they're probably going to weigh about the same when they step in there. So it's like, dude, if you don't want to make weight and you want to pay me off a percentage, I'm all for it. So
Yeah.
The last guy, Manny, man, he's huge. He missed at 45, and then he actually just fought outside the UFC. And he missed weight at 155 this Saturday. So he's a big guy, but I think Merab's gonna make weight. You know, he put on there that he was like 20 over right now, which is a little bit, but he hasn't missed weight. He hasn't missed weight yet, so I don't expect him to.
Well, I kind of hope he does. You're undefeated against guys in UFC that miss weight. So
right.
Cool.
And
Keep
the
the
UFC
streak
in
alive.
general. Yeah.
You're also a 2-time underdog that's won us some money on parlays. Now you're going to be a 3-time underdog after Saturday, most likely. So that's going to be good. Keep throwing Casey in your parlays like we have.
Yeah. I already put my bet in. I got you and Corey Anderson.
Nice. That's a good bet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I was just telling somebody, I was like, man, you know what? I like being the underdog. I was the favorite for so long before I got into the UFC. It's nice to just kind of sit back and enjoy the fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's something I was watching some of your interviews today, and I didn't realize this. You're the first champ in LFA, right?
Yeah. Yep. So I took that one on short notice. So kind of just to give you guys a little background of the LFA thing. So I won the flyweight belt in November, and you know it was a 5-round war against this Brandon Royval, who's probably about to get signed at flyweight. He's the new champion now. After that, they told me, I thought I got the golden ticket, you know, with all my previous stuff and that belt. I thought for sure I was getting signed to the UFC. They're like, we're actually getting rid of the weight class, man. If you want in, you got to move up to bantamweight, right? So I'm like, fuck, you know, what do I got to do here? What do I got to do here? I thought that was like the goal, like that was it. You know, I put everything into that camp and got in a financial hole just to try to, be the best I could that camp. And that's when the short notice champ fight popped up. And I was like, well, I guess if I got to make a statement at 35, it might as well be right here. So that's kind of how I also ended up at 135 as well.
That's awesome. Are you thinking about going back to 25 at all?
You know what? They asked me after the last fight. Not really, man. It's, I'm sitting like 149, 150 right now, feeling pretty like shredded, like 25 is a hard weight cut for me. And just kind of like what I just told you with what happened. It's like, man, I don't want to be a part of the flyweight division. I'm part of the bantamweight division. That's, they're talking about, the toughest division in the UFC right now. It's deep. The flyweights, they're coming back, but still not anywhere near what the bantamweight, lineup is.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're winning, why cut the extra weight anyway? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think they get much bigger than the last guy. So
yeah,
it was huge.
I'm good with what the bantamweights are gonna weigh, and I feel like I filled out to that weight class already.
Yeah.
You gonna ask him your question? Start off.
Oh yeah. So me and him have been arguing over the past couple days a lot. Did you watch this fight last weekend?
Yeah.
Who do you think won?
Well, I would say that Reyes has a good claim about what he did, and if it wasn't a championship fight, I feel like he didn't do enough to steal John Jones's legacy right there. Like, he lost the last 2 rounds for sure. And then I thought the first 2 were to him, but the third was so close that let's just put it this way: the judge that scored it 49-46 is an idiot. But I thought it could have been 48-47 either way. It was close enough that normally in a close round like that, which he even did get a takedown in the third, I believe. Which
he got right back up though.
Got right back up, but there wasn't a whole lot going on the whole time. Well, as far as like grappling exchanges,
Yeah.
So if you got and the striking was pretty close. Reyes was landing some big shots, but John was pressuring him. So I think it was too close to take the John Jones legacy away that way.
Agreed.
Disagree.
Couldn't agree more. You can't win a title fight like that if you're backing up the whole time. That's my thing.
He won the first 3 rounds, and the 4th one was close, I think.
He was backing up, in my opinion. Can't win backing up like that. I don't care if you outstrike him. Like, you're running away the whole time. The guy's not going to be able to hit you.
Yeah, and you go back and you watch some of those exchanges in slow-mo, too. Like, a lot of them, John has really good defense. Like, a lot of them were rolling off the shoulders. Like, it looked like he was hitting him hard, but, I think that one uppercut I saw on the replay really cracked Jones. But other than that, I didn't really see much slow-mo of, him getting it. Neither of them were marked up to the point where you could go with damage or, those are big guys. They weren't landing too clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, like, with how good Jones is, if any small thing happens to him or anything's close, people just overreact. They're like, no fucking way. Like, he got leg kicked. Fuck. He lost.
Whatever. Yeah, you do have that effect, but let's just put it this way. That's been the closest fight, John Jones fight I've seen in a while. For sure. I think they should run it back and, see how that goes.
They should, but
I want him to fight Corey.
We're big Corey Anderson guys.
Yeah.
So, shit. I was about to ask you all about your fight, but I had this one in there. So we'll start with this before we talk about your fight. Main event of your card, Corey Anderson, Jan. Who you got?
I got Corey Anderson.
That's right. You do.
Yeah. He already beat him up the first time pretty bad. Like, he just took him down and mauled him. Not that his wrestling can't get much better, but coming from a wrestling background, that type of thing, couple years, you may improve a little bit, but if someone's that much better of a grappler than you, it may take a long time, if not ever, that you gain that distance. So, and then I think, didn't he fight Jacare last?
Yeah, Jan did.
Yeah, Jan did. And that was a terrible fight, right? That was not very good.
Really boring.
Yeah, it was. I think I remember watching that thinking this might be like one of those fights that goes down the history books as most boring fight ever.
Okay.
So, and then Corey Anderson's coming off of that stoppage over
Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker. Yep, Johnny Walker. I was thinking a prospect, but yeah, Johnny Walker was a prospect until Corey Anderson put him away. So I like his momentum a lot better. And then obviously I think that would be a good fight against him and Jones, style-wise.
Yeah, I think so too.
I agree. That pressure that he brings and pace is something that most guys can't put on John. So, but on to your fight. After your last fight, you were begging for a stand-up fight, begging for a stand and bang, let me bang, bro. And they give you Merab. Can you pronounce his last name? Because I
don't know if I got it right, but it's Devalishvili.
Yeah, that's how it's spelled, but I just couldn't imagine I would get it right.
Yeah.
So
I'm just copying the commentators when I was watching his fights. I had no idea. I was butchering it until I watched his fights, and then I just kind of copied them.
Yeah, I put it in Google Translate to read to me before this, so I wasn't confident still about saying it. So, you wanted a stand-up fight. This guy, from what I've seen watching his fights, judo black belt. He has a wild stand-up style when he stands. He throws spinning shit all over the place. But looks like he's more does a lot of trips, takedowns, judo style like you. So, did you get what you're asking for? You happy about this?
Yeah, man. At first I was a little not upset, but just wasn't exactly the name that popped in my head. He does win fights mainly based off his wrestling control. He does stand up and exchange a little bit more than my last two opponents, I feel like, but where he dominates is the grappling, the wrestling control. He's not really a submission guy like Manny either. He's more like a control guy like Borg. But he could easily be 4-0 in the UFC. He's got 2 wins in a row, and then his first 2, I thought he won his first fight. It was close, but he lost a split decision, I think. And then his second fight, he was winning, and he got choked out with 3 seconds left. So that goes to the scorecards. I think he could easily be 4-0 in the UFC, which puts him right up there with some of the tough guys. And for me, it's kind of maybe it wasn't the exact fight that I wanted, but this is a good one to solidify where they ranked me. I wasn't really expecting to be in the rankings, and I was going to try to make my way into there this fight, but now it's kind of I got to hold my place. So Merab's a tough opponent to prove that against.
Yeah. I know last time we talked, you were wanting to fight. Thomas Almeida was one of the names, and there was another one I can't even remember. But yeah, I know Merab. When the fight got announced, I was like, who is this guy? And I look back, I remember his fights. I remember the Ricky Simone fight most closely where he got guillotined, and it was all controversial if he was out and all that. But so he's trains at Serra Longo Fight Team. How excited are you to be hearing Matt Serra and Ray Longo yell nonsense at you across the page?
Man, those guys should start a TV show. I think Sarah's already on the Dana White stuff or whatever. Yeah. But man, just those two should they should start a TV show themselves. The New Yorker guys they're pretty stone cold, anyway. So hearing Matt Serra and Ray Longo screaming at you, that's only gonna give me some motivation.
Yeah, don't let
especially they start talking shit in there. They start talking shit to me in there. We're gonna have not problems, but I'm gonna have to give them a salute. I knew that was coming.
You're afraid he's gonna punch a hole in your fucking chest?
Yeah, that's what I'm punch a hole in his fucking chest.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, those guys are awesome. Can't hate on those guys.
No, not at all, man. They're OGs of the sport. Matt Serra goes all the way back to the GSP days, but now they're OGs of the sport as coaches as well, So, you got to respect that.
Oh, yeah. So, like I said, Merab, good fight. But if you beat him, where do you think it puts you in the division?
I think where I made a huge jump. Everybody screams for the top 15 once they get into the UFC. The guy above me, Chito Vera, I think he's got 5 finishes in a row, and he finally got ranked. That just kind of shows you how deep the bantamweight division is. So now, one, I want to kind of solidify where I'm at, and then, 2, kind of start working my way up the ladder in 2020. All the way to a title fight in 1 year as deep as the division is probably unrealistic. So just keep winning and working my way up the ladder. You know, if I take Merab out, I don't see why I couldn't get, you know, a top 15, a top 10 guy next. And then, you know, and then I'm just really, you know, chopping away at that top 15, top 10 ladder until I get into the Sandhagens and Peter Jans and, you know, those type of matchups.
It's exciting. I like the way you're thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, right now, I think I would fight any of them. You know, they called me right now and said, "Hey, Merab's out. We're putting in Peter Yan." I'm like, cool, let's do it. You know, like, you know, he looked pretty scary against Faber, but not really, man. That's exactly when I called for the Faber fight, and that's exactly what I pictured myself doing to Uriah Faber is what you know, Peter Yan did. So props. It was brutal. It was brutal, but I mean.
You got some violent thoughts in your head, man.
Come on.
This week I have the most violent thoughts. I try to contain myself, like driving around in public and stuff. You know, I got to be careful. Don't cut me off right now.
Windshield.
I was driving this morning to the gym, and some guy cut me off like 2 different lanes, and then he was laughing at me as I drove by. So I was just like, dude, don't even mess with me right now. All right, just kind of laugh it off and keep going.
Yeah, like I'm a UFC fighter, dumbass. Stay in your car.
It's like I'm fighting Saturday. I'm ready to kill somebody right now.
Keep that guy in your mind while you're out there. God, fucking cut me off. Damn, Merab.
Yeah. Was that you, Merab?
So something that got announced today, and they've been talking about a lot about it since this past weekend. There's so many horrible decisions. Live scoring. You know, like they actually tell you what the score is after each round. The judge tells you. They just announced in Kansas they're going to start doing that. So,
Kansas.
Yeah, they announced that today, which I think is pretty cool. What do you think about that? Would you like to know? I mean, obviously, like if you're winning a fight, if you're losing, or do you think it like gets in the fighters' heads, or I don't know. What do you think about it?
I mean, I don't mind it. You know, there's been some fights that have been, you know, I go back and watch the video and it's completely different than what I was imagining in my head, you know, or even I sit down in between rounds and it's like one thing feels one way, you know, and it could be completely different. But really at the end of the day, you know, no matter how you feel sitting down, if I felt like I beat the crap out of that dude in that round and I sit down and the judge has it against me, you know, I'd kind of like to know. You know, it's like, well, shit, I thought I won that round, but I guess not. I got to go do some more. So I like it. I mean, every other sport you have live scoring, you know.
Yeah.
I think, you know, guys kind of know already, and you see the one guy that's down pressing the issue, maybe the one guy that's up kind of stalling. Like, I don't think it would add to, like, you know, oh shit, I'm up 2 rounds. You know, the judges have showed me already. I'm just going to cruise in this 3rd round, you know, type of thing. I think that would be maybe the only like downfall, like the fighter would know. But if you start stalling too hard in an MMA fight, you're going to get put away. So,
because if you know you're down 2 rounds, you're going to have to go for it.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying.
it completely would change the game plan, I guess. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I guess just one state's doing it, so we can see how it goes.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. Like, you know, I'm in there fighting my ass off, you know, for 15 minutes regardless. But you know, if I'm down 2 rounds or I'm up 2 rounds, like I'd kind of like to know. You know, that would be cool.
Because I mean, your only loss in your career was a fucking bullshit decision. So if you knew you were losing, maybe it's like, oh shit, maybe I should go throw this guy on his head a few more times and make sure I win this shit.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I was the victim of one of those decisions, and I honestly thought that, you know, I beat the brakes off of him for the first 2 rounds, like no questions about it. Like, not that I really cruised. I mean, I cruised a little bit in the 3rd round, but it definitely would have been a little bit different in my head because, you know, my corner, myself, half the world, you know, Dana, they all thought I won the first 2 rounds, and you know, on the judges or 2 of the judges' scorecards, you know, they didn't have me on there winning. So, like in an instance like that, I would have liked to know.
Yeah, I think it'd be good, and I don't think The only thing I could see is people thinking like it takes the surprise factor away from the decision, but I think it's still there. After a close round, everyone's sitting there in their corners, and it pops up on the screen who won the round. Everyone starts going crazy. They all start booing. Like, I think that'd be even more fun.
Yeah.
5-round fight, just everyone freaking booing when their guy doesn't get the round. Fights breaking out in the crowd.
Yeah, and then if it is close, you got to wait till the final decision. If you got 1-1 going into the third, I think you'll see a lot better fights too. As far as like if it's definitely 1-1, like, oh shit, I got to win this round for sure.
Yeah.
So
it's probably never going to happen though. I mean, MMA is a young sport, but boxing's been around forever, and they've never done it. Same athletic commissions. I just can't. I can't imagine that.
Yeah,
changed, but
it's a hard sport to judge. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much going on. It's like, what, does a jab count more than a takedown that he gets right back up? Just like what you said earlier with the Reyes thing. Like, I agree. If you take me down and my ass hits and I'm up on my feet, like, it's hard to give somebody points for that, right? But in a close fight, that's hard to tell the difference on the striking. Like, as fighters, we all know that that's a win if you just get somebody down, right? If we're close to even on the striking and I take you down only for a second, like, I don't agree with it, but that's just kind of, you got to play the game as well too,
Yeah, I mean, like me and him, he thought Reyes won the fight. I thought Jones did. Like we both know our shit, and we had it different. So like, if I think Jones won, I don't need Ariel Helwani making a 40-minute fucking YouTube video about me. So I'm not trying to be a judge. That shit seems way too hard.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Okay.
I think
the
judging. Well, the reason the Reyes and the Jones was so the decision was talked about so much is all the terrible decisions that they had before that, right? Like, the judges were already on blast. Joe Rogan and Dominic Cruz were talking about, during a live fight, how this judge is not watching. He's looking at his phone. He's not even watching the fight. And then, there was a couple, I thought, bad decisions. Maybe some other people didn't think so. But now you got all this talk leading up to how terrible the judging is and stuff. And then, the John Jones fight goes 5 rounds and a close decision. Like, no matter how it was scored, somebody was going to get, the shit into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did say he won the second round, so that guy is crazy. I heard it was the same guy that messed up. There's another fight that messed up. I don't remember which one it was. It wasn't the Derek Lewis one.
It was the James Krause or the Jonathan Martinez.
It might have been. They gave Martinez the first round when Krause had his back the whole time.
That was this dude like Joe Solis or something like that was his name.
Yeah, Joe Solis, that was it.
Yeah, because people were making fake accounts of him on Twitter saying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and fucking Dominic Reyes fell for it.
I did too.
Reyes fell for it. Solis was like talking shit on Twitter. It was a fake Solis account. And Reyes was like putting him on blast on Ariel Helwani Day. And Helwani's like, hey man, like, that wasn't real.
I think it was the McGregor Rousey dude. People were just falling for.
Yeah, I saw on there. So my manager is the same one as Jonathan Martinez manager. Okay. And they're appealing the decision. And
he won, right?
So Martinez lost.
He didn't fight Krause. That wasn't the same fight.
Am I getting it mixed up?
Yeah. Maybe. So there's two fights. I thought
so Krause didn't fight that guy because Krause lost.
Yeah. Krause lost and Martinez lost, but Martinez fought this dude Andre Ewell.
Okay, that's the one I was thinking of in the first place.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the other one, so yeah.
No, you're okay. So that one was probably, I would say, the worst decision of the night. Like, in my eyes, was the Ewell, and all the fights were fairly close, but there was no way that Andre Ewell won all 3 rounds, the 30-27, like you were talking about. So I think that's what I saw on Twitter. They're appealing or whatever. But I saw the Twitter thing where the Joe Solis was giving out his address to a gym. So
that's pretty funny though. I'm not gonna lie.
that was pretty good. So we'll see what happens with all that. I appealed my decision in Vegas for that Antolin thing, but appealing a decision is tough. You don't really get much. You don't really get anywhere.
Has anybody ever won one of those?
I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I think it's just something that, like, your last hope in the world that it's gonna get overturned is that. So, good luck with that. But I don't think you're gonna have much luck there.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get title shots coming off losses now, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, the UFC is fucking wild right now, dude. It's the wild, wild west. Yeah. I think Aldo's going to do the same thing with Cejudo. I think they're going to match that up. But, the Romero-Adesanya matchup, I guess the champion wants it. He wants it, right? But
I think that one actually makes more sense than the Aldo one.
So Aldo makes no sense.
I think the Romero one makes a little more sense. Because at least he's fuck. Maybe no, it doesn't. I don't know.
He's coming off of 2 losses too. Romero's got back-to-back losses, I think.
Yeah, he does.
And then I got a teammate, Jared Cannonier, who is.
That's why I think
that's your teammate. Yeah, I was.
That's why I've been saying.
Dude, I like him.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, man. He trains at the MMA lab, and just one of the most humble guys you'll ever meet. Super nice dude, super cool dude. Obviously a hell of a fighter.
That's all I know. I don't know anything about him personally, but I like watching him fight. I would like to see him get a title fight eventually.
I think he will. I think he's fighting Darren Till on March 7th. So he was supposed to fight Whitaker. And then Whitaker had that crazy bone marrow thing with his daughter. And then Till's been the guy that's supposed to step in. But I just saw on MMA Junkie a couple minutes ago before I started talking to you guys that Till actually signed the contract, so it's
okay, cool.
Yeah, he was tweeting about it earlier.
I hadn't seen that yet.
Couple
That's
hours
good.
ago.
That's good news.
Yep. So that should be a good one, man. Jared's scary, but Darren Till's no joke too. So I think if he puts Darren Till away, you got to give the guy a title shot.
I think he should have it anyway, but
yeah,
that'll leave no doubt at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, one more thing I just randomly thought of this. We were talking about who you should fight next. Do you know who's calling your fight?
I do not.
I don't either. But I was gonna say, if Cruz if Cruz is calling it, last time you called out Faber and Frankie, if Cruz is calling the fight, you get a good finish. Cruz hasn't fought in a while. Call him out, get your name out there a little bit. Even if it's not gonna happen, people are like, "Dang, dude, that guy's crazy." I don't think he's calling him out.
I know. Hey, do you guys remember watching Dan Hooker and Paul Felder on that? They're about to fight, but Dan Hooker called him out when he was getting interviewed by Paul Felder.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
He didn't really call him out, but he was just kind of asked him right there.
I'll fight you, though.
Yeah, you just so happen to be a top 5 middleweight or whatever the hell lightweight.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. Personally, I don't think Cruz comes back.
I don't either.
I mean,
that's kind of what I was thinking.
He's got I wouldn't if I was him, he's got his life set up with the commentary, all that good stuff. He's good at it, well, I guess I shouldn't say I wouldn't. I'm a competitor. I'm going to fight to the end. So, but I could see why he wouldn't come back. He's got everything set up to where he could still be involved in fighting and not actually have to get in there. But, I was thinking about calling out the winner of Garbrandt and the Sunsao.
Yeah.
Ooh, we'll be at that fight.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping I got booked for that, but I was really pressing the UFC to get me booked for a fight, so I might have bit my own tongue on that one because they kind of told me after my last one that it was going to be before the end of the year, and then they kind of put a pause on bantamweight for a second as far as matching up everybody until that Aldo and Faber thing went down in December, and then they kind of matched everybody up at the beginning of the year. But I wouldn't mind fighting one of those guys either. Tell Garbrandt, if he wins, I'll show you who the toughest Midwest boy is.
Hey, yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd love that.
And then, if Cruz isn't there, you can always call out John Anik and Beat his ass.
Like, I want John Anik and Joe Rogan. Both these guys in here.
John Anik, you're taking everything I worked for, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Well, that's all I got. You got any questions?
Nah, I'm good.
Good. All right.
Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
so much for coming on and giving us your
course, man.
time. And good luck this weekend.
Yeah.
For sure, guys. Come back anytime. Have a good night, and thanks for having me on as well, dude. It's always fun talking with you guys. Well, you for the first time now.
Yeah. Now that we're cool.
All right, we're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Yes, you
I won't be wrestling any more keepers for a while, man.
Yeah, me neither.
Awesome.
But
Thank you, man.
for sure, you guys have a good night. Enjoy those beers, and hit me up if you want to talk after the fight.
Yeah,
Yes,
sounds
sir.
good.
Thank you. You guys can catch Casey on Saturday on ESPN Plus, right? Is that what you're fighting on?
Yep,
Awesome.
ESPN Plus.
Put him on your parlays. He's always winning us money as an underdog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Casey.
for sure, man. Have a good night, guys.
You too.